What this could mean in the short term is that Sophie Ellis Bextor's smash hit and many others like it are going to be, as you said, pulled from TikTok. Not only can users not upload new videos with some of those songs, but existing videos that have some of these songs licensed by Universal Music Group will be muted. It's going to be kind of a shock for some of the Taylor Swift fans in the coming week leading up to the Super Bowl who might want to upload some videos using some of Taylor's music.
I was going to ask about Tay-Tay because she is one of the many artists you see all over the place on TikTok. It strikes me that music by these artists has been instrumental to TikTok's growth and its popularity. Will that be dented now, do you reckon?
Well, it's certainly true that music has been vital to the growth of platforms like TikTok, not just TikTok, but even platforms that preceded it, like Musical.ly, what TikTok used to be known as. It kind of built its promotional campaign on the fact that people could use music on these platforms. And now there will still be music licensed by other major labels like Warner or Sony, but Universal Music Group, the largest international record label, those songs are gone.
Universal says TikTok is trying to build a music-based business without paying fair value for the music. Do they have a point?
It's an interesting question, and it's something that asks the question again of what is fair value for music these days. It's something that we've been wondering when it comes to music streaming platforms, for example, for almost 15 years. Yeah. It's just shifting the way that we understand music and that we access music. But one thing that is left out of the press release from Universal Music is that the kinds of licensing agreements that they have struck are not for full songs as they would be for a platform like Spotify, but they're for clips up to 60 seconds, which is the length of an average TikTok video. So again, the question remains, what is a fair market value for a 60-second clip of a song, let alone a stream of a song, which many argue is not being paid enough per stream?
Yeah, very, very good point, because we all know the pressures on musicians these days. It's harder for them, especially if you're not a Taylor Swift, to make money these days. And, you know, they would worry about not getting fair value.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the points that Universal made was that some of their emerging or developing artists were being deplatformed on TikTok, and it wasn't affecting the large artists like Adele or Justin Bieber as it was for those smaller artists. However, now after Universal's pulled their entire catalog due to this licensing dispute, not only will those superstars be gone, but those little guys will still struggle even more.
Yeah.
And again, I think there's a question about, there's the question about how some artists make a living in 2024 from their music. Because again, something that in my line of work, I often find myself asking the artists that I speak to in the course of my research is royalties from streaming platforms and platforms like TikTok your only source of income? And oftentimes the case is it makes up quite a small fraction in the larger ecosystem.
Oh, that's interesting, because it could be argued, and musicians have made this point, that they are not getting, in terms of fair value, full value from streaming companies, from groups like Universal. The enormous revenue they earn, not enough, according to a lot of artists, is going back to the artists. So that's an issue too.
Absolutely. And it's something that on the project that I'm currently working on at the University of Leeds called Music Stream, that's trying to understand what are some of these larger cultural shifts. That's an important point and a piece of the puzzle is how can we as a society of people who love music and people who make music and people who work in the music business understand the shifting value of music in this moment where so much of the music that we listen to is accessed via these kinds of platforms like Spotify or YouTube or, of course, now TikTok.